Hi everyone, Rick here with tell everyone your name.
Hello.
Haarlem, look at the camera, tell them, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, so we're going to make a quick video on how to cut an onion. Now this is my way of cutting an onion, and part of doing this is just showing how to safely cut an onion and not, knives are something that children should what? Should you stay away from knives?
Yeah.
And if you're going to use a knife, who should be there?
A grown.
A grown-up. That's right.
To help you.
Yeah, to help you. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut an onion. We're not going to show my face while we cut an onion. Why are we not going to show my face? What might come out of my eyes? Might I cry? Yeah, I'm very, very sensitive to onion scents. But Harlem's going to be with me, and I want to show her, even though she's not going to be cutting onions anytime soon, I'm going to show her how I cut an onion. I'm not very good at cutting vegetables, but I figure, hey, I know enough that I've made it 40 years on this earth knowing how to cook. So hold on a second, and we will show you how to cut an onion.
Is that an onion?
That's an onion. Okay. So what we have here is a sweet vidalia onion. Now you'll notice that sometimes, what do we do to vegetables before we cut them?
Safety.
Safety. What else do we do in the sink with them?
Wash them.
We wash them, but in this case, it already has its own little protective shell. So we don't need to wash it, do we? So first what we do, take a cut from the bottom, get rid of that. We'll put that, or we're going to put that later. Where do you think that goes?
In the trash.
Or the
Garbage.
compost. Okay, so some people like to just peel off. Well, oh my gosh, I can already feel it. Okay, I usually like to pull the first two layers off because I find even the one underneath can be a little rubbery sometimes. And make sure if you're going to do this, you don't have any cuts or sores on your hand because it can make it a little sensitive. And like I said, this isn't the standard way to do this. This is just the way I do it, and I've always done it. And right now, I could probably use the outer shell, but as you can see, it's still a little bit more rubbery than the inside. You can sort of feel when you put your thumb in it how crisp it is. And always wash your hands before you do this, which I did. Okay. I swear I did. All right. So now, if you're making onion rings, you probably want to start in the middle. But in this case, we're dicing these onions to go in a new recipe we're trying tonight. You know what we're having? It's going to be a keto egg roll. So you can do that, or you can start from the top. Now, here I'm going to show you what not to do. Never cut any fruit or vegetable with your hand at the bottom. Why not? Because you're going to cut yourself, right? This is a pretty sharp knife. Hands off, sweetheart. Remember, we've got to make sure everything stays safe. Okay? So what we do is we place our fingers as far as we can to the side. Oh man, it's really hitting me in the face. So as to not cut them. And you go ahead and you do one clean swipe. Okay? That's our first cut. Now, how many onions do we need for this recipe we're making? Do we need a half onion? Yeah, half onion. Okay. So we're going to leave this one to the side. We'll let either myself or mommy use that in a different recipe. And what I usually do is just bisect it again.
And then you just cut it and then cut it.
And then cut it. All right. Then we can bisect again. Bisect again.
It's like cutting an apple, only that's the onion.
Yeah. Now notice whenever I cut this time, I didn't have my fingers in the side because you don't have the same stability as you have with a whole onion. So you want to put it like this, and you go in between. Way less risk of cutting your finger. Now here's where it might get a little bit tricky, okay? Because now I want to cut it, keep cutting it this way. So I have to move my fingers as I cut. We're cutting it very thin because we want it to liquefy in the bottom of the pan. Reason being is there will be big chunks of food in this, but we don't want the onions to blind the flavor of the cabbage. And we keep moving, and if you notice, you're going to run out of room. So at this point, you just keep your fingers at the end like that. Keep chopping. Oh, Daddy's closing one eye, isn't he? Okay? And these right here, they're thin and they're, short enough that they're going to break apart in the pan, even if they're a little chunky, which I, as a person who's not a huge fan of onions, does not like. Now this one, did I cut both of them? I sure as heck did. See, if you screw up like I just did, and this is a great example, you can just go like this. Now, they don't look as pretty when you do this, but one thing you do have is you have safety. Now, as you can see, I am cutting on a cutting board. You don't want to cut on your countertops unless you have granite. Now, I could totally cut these on this granite countertop, and it's sealed too. Now, notice, I'm not running my fingers the bottom of the blade, just at the top, okay? I could, but I just don't want it to stink like onions later, because I don't like the smell of raw onions, which is, maybe I'll show myself after this. You can see me crying. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these. We're going to do the same thing. Cut them very thin. We're going to dice them. Ooh, my thumb's right there. Better move it back. See, you have to always watch what you're doing. Like, you can't see it on camera right now, but I'm not looking at Haarlem. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm slicing. Like I said, keep your finger below that blade. Years ago, we were making a film, and one of our friends cut his thumb wide open while chopping peppers, because he just wasn't used to cutting vegetables, right? So I'll go ahead and get those. Cut them thin. Can you smell it? Does it feel like it's hurting your eyes?
No.
Okay. Oh, it doesn't? Oh, well, I'm standing right over it. Maybe that's why. Okay. All right. So.
It's not hurting my nose.
It's hurting your nose? Yeah, it's getting my eyes. But you know me, I have lots of allergies. I'm very sensitive to smells like this. And what I usually do, just to give it a once over in case there are some big chunks that didn't necessarily fall apart, as I just I do like a rocking motion. All right, so yes, yeah, keep your fingers in your vicinity. Okay. All right, and there we have a chopped, sliced, whatever you want to call it. Lots of little chunks that will soften, possibly caramelize a little bit. And caramelize is when you cook something and the sugars are released. That's where the term caramel comes from. All right, so there we have a half an onion ready to go. We'll take this one and put it in a Ziploc bag and put it back in the fridge. Okay, sweetheart, so I want you to smell those and tell me what you think. Go ahead, smell them.
They don't smell like onions.
Is it good or bad?
Good.
But you're pushing it away like it's not good. Does it burn your nose a little bit?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. All right, guys, you saw it here. That's just how you chop an onion. All right, so let's go through the steps again. Wash your hands. In a day and age of spreading germs and COVID, we don't want germs, do we?
No.
Who's really good at washing your hands?
Me.
Yeah. She actually, her hand washing has actually improved my hand washing because she loves washing her hands ever since you were little, huh? Since you were 2. So wash your hands. Make sure you have a parent. Don't even take the knife out of the drawer unless it's a parent doing it. That's just one of those safety things. I would say probably not till, well, I guess your parents could be the judge of whether they think it's safe or not for you to use a knife. Keep your fingers away. It's step 3, your fingers away as you cut. Use a cutting board if you have vinyl or plastic counters. If you're worried about the smell, even on granite, still use a cutting board. Anyway, just a little video on how we chop onions in this house. Say bye, Haarlem.
Bye.
To the camera.
Bye.
All right, you have a good one. Bye.